Hello, everybody. Did you know that Lost in Time also comes with a more challenging Time Bandits version in the same box? It's true. It's made for those time travelers that have played the original version a few times and are up to a new and unique challenge. In the Time Bandits version, the players are divided into time agents and time bandits. In order to emerge victorious as a time bandit, the players will have to collect 4 payment chips on their timeline before the 8th card has been played. What do we mean with the payment chips? See these symbols here? That's a payment chips. And here's another one. See? So they will have to collect 4 of them in order to win the game. They are actually stealing original pieces from the past and selling them in the future. How dare they? The time agents, in contrast, will have to try to corner and arrest the time bandits as they are recklessly playing with time, thereby changing history. We don't want that. The time agents are able to arrest the time bandits if they succeed to travel within 50 years of the bandit's location by the time the 8th card has been played. So here I've set up a 2-player game, but of course it's also playable with 3 to 4 players. The difficulty is entirely up to you. If you feel confident enough, like me, you can play as the only time bandit being chased by 2 or 3 time agents. I love it. Each player is blindly dealt 2 item cards. These are items the time travelers have in their backpack to save themselves from a dangerous situation. For instance, we have a small and bright laser pen, or we have a first aid kit. So these can save the time travelers during a dangerous situation. These can come in handy, but you have to keep them secret from the other players, of course. Then all players are dealt a battery pack of 18 cards that are placed face down in front of them. These are your battery packs. Once they are used up, the players are not able to travel through time anymore. So it's pretty important to make sure that they are always that they don't get exhausted. If you can't travel through time anymore, you will be stuck in time for a while until their battery has been recharged. Or if they can't recharge their battery, they will be lost in time. The cards that remain after being dealt, that's the energy pool. So from these cards, you can replenish your battery. So, all players take 5 cards from the battery pack and the game can begin. So here are the 5 cards first drawn by the Time Bandits, or the Time Agent, and these are the ones from the Time Bandits. As you can see, I already started halfway through the game, so to record this. So, in their turn, players can play a disaster card on the opponent's timeline if the direction of play allows it. For instance, we are heading into the future, and the bandit wants to block the agent. So he plays disaster cards. The retreat from Russia in 1812. He places it on the agent's timeline, which he can because the agent was in 1789 plus, and we're moving forward in time, so it has to be after 1789. So that's 1812. Perfectly possible, perfectly legal. What they're also able to do in their turn, they can also discard a number of cards from their hand onto the discard pile. So they can place these all on the discard pile here. But of course you have to be careful. You can't just play around discarding a lot of cards if your hands are not good enough, because you'll always be taking from your battery pack. So, as you know, your battery pack is very important. No more battery pack, stuck in time. Or you can simply skip a turn in order to draw 10 cards from the energy pool at the start of the following round. The Bandits also receives extra chip if he remains in a time period. So if he waits a turn, he not only gets a chip, but also 10 cards from the energy pool. So in this case, if he would wait in 1983, he would have 1, 2, 3 chips, so he had 1 more to go, and he's only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He has 3 more rounds to go, so that's doable for the Time Bandit. Like in the regular Lost in Time game, at the end of your turn, you have to travel through time unless you've decided to skip a turn. Keep in mind that you can only place cards, like in the regular game, only at the extremes. Extremities of your timeline, never in between. And the revealed arrows on the discard pile determines if the players must go forward or backwards into time. So that remains. That's the same as in the basic version. Now, as it's not the intention to get into 2031, as with the original game, the VIP cards and the disaster cards are more important in the Time Bandits version. They have new possibilities. So you can forget about the plus 10 on those cards, and also the plus 20. You can ignore them. They have no use anymore in this Time Bandits version. However, they offer a number of possibilities, new possibilities. VIP cards on a timeline offer the owner influence over a certain period of time. I'm going to give you an example. In between the game, you have this influence sheet, and you can see here all the VIP cards on there. And you can see what period they influenced. For example, in this case, the time agent, he has Emperor Augustus, the Roman Emperor, on his timeline. So that means that he has influence over all the cards 44 BC to 376 AD. So if the player needs to skip a turn in order to recharge his battery, it would be best to do so in that time frame. For instance, in 376 or something like that. So in other words, in this case, the time agent has become friends with the Roman emperors, and then they will save him, and they will offer him certain benefits and safety if they arrive in that time period. So between 44 BC and 376 AD. It's the same with Belisarius between 529 and 1099. Lorenzo Magnificent, Napoleon, Otto von Bismarck, even beautiful Marilyn Monroe. So they all have influence in this game for a certain time period. In contrast, having a VIP card on your timeline is bad news for your rival. So if he is forced to travel into time and ends anywhere in between 444 BC to 376 AD, he will not only be stuck in that time, but he will also have to pay 5 cards from his battery pile to his opponent. So say, for example, we are going back into time. There. We're going back into time. It's the Time Bandit's turn. He needs to play a card. And he has to go back into time. He only has, it has to be a card before 929 AD. The only one he can play is 376. He is forced to play that one on his timeline. But that falls under the influence of Emperor Augustus. So what happens is he's stuck there in 376 for a turn. But he will also have to pay 5 cards from his battery pile. 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And he will have to give that to the time agent. So he has to pay it to his opponent. So this is, of course, a benefit for the time agent who had Emperor Augustus on his timeline. So it's good to have VIP cards on your timeline. What about disaster cards? Disaster cards can be played, as I mentioned earlier, on an opponent's timeline if the card matches with the direction of play. For example, we're going forwards into time, and like I showed earlier, the Time Bandit plays 1812 on our friend the Time Agent's timeline. So it's a retreat from Russia, 1812. This card will not form a problem for the agent if the agent has the required item in his backpack. Remember those items I showed you at the beginning of the video? These items. So here you can see during the retreat from Russia, what was important. Something important to have was, of course, a winter coat, because there were like temperatures of minus 30 degrees, so it was pretty chilly, to say the least. Question is, does the time agent have a winter coat? Let's see in his item cards which one he's received. So he's received a bulletproof vest, that one too, and he's received a first aid kit. So no, he does not have the winter coat as mentioned. So what happens then? He therefore loses 5 cards from his battery. 5 cards from his battery, so the ones he just got from his rival, and he places them in the pool. So this is a way to keep the pool replenished, of course, because if the energy pool is empty, well, you can't recharge your battery anymore. So obvious, players are also allowed to play disaster cards on their own timeline. But of course, they will need to show that they have the appropriate item in their possession, of course. So, replenishing your battery pile. As mentioned earlier, by voluntarily skipping a turn, the players have the possibility to replenish their battery pile. If they do so, they will have to skip a turn by remaining on the latest card they have played. And then at the start of the next round, they will be allowed to draw 10 cards from the energy pool and add them to the bottom of their battery pack. So say, for example, our good friend, the Time Bandit, remains in 1983. He's a Time Bandit, so he automatically receives an extra payment chip. But he also gets to take 10 cards from the energy pool, and he adds them to his battery deck, to the bottom. There you go. So now he's got more options. And of course the energy pool is less. So if the time agent wants to take some, now it's still okay. But if you play with 3 or 4 players, of course the energy pool is going to be emptied much faster. Now, how to arrest the bandits. As mentioned earlier, the players need to be able to travel 50 years within the bandit's location in order to arrest him. So let's take an example here. So the thief has skipped a turn in 1983 in order to replenish his battery. The direction of play is into the future. In his turn, the agent, he decides to travel to 1989, the fall of the Berlin Wall, because he has 1812, so he has to go to the future. He perfectly can do that. It matches the direction and everything like that. It can fit. But the Berlin Wall is only 6 years from 1983. So where the bandit is stuck now at this moment. So the agent therefore plays 1989 and says, Time Bandits, I've captured you, man. So that's a way to eliminate the bandits. Obviously, if the player's battery pack pile is exhausted and they have less than 4 cards, in their possession at the start of the round, they will be unable to travel through time, and they are lost in time and out of the game. So that's for everybody, not only the time agents, but also the Time Bandits. So if this ever happens, the player has less than 4 cards at the start of the game, at the start of a round, he will automatically be eliminated because he can't travel through time. He is lost in time. The last round is played the moment a player has placed his 8th card on his timeline. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we got one more round to go. The thieves, they emerge victorious if they manage to get 4 chips on their timeline. So we have 1, 2, 3, and we have 4. So they would have made it. The agents emerge victorious prematurely if they've managed to capture all the bandits and save our history. So I hope you enjoyed this playthrough of the extended version, the more challenging version of Lost in Time, the Time Bandits, which you can also find in the game. And hope it was a little bit clear and fun, time traveling through history. Take care. Thanks for watching.